So at Georgia Pacific, our brand purpose and what we're trying to do is we're trying to create virtuous cycles of mutual benefit. So what that really boils down to is if we can create value for our customers, and if we can create value for our consumers, in turn, we will create value for ourselves. And so I think retailers becoming media publishers or media giants, whatever you want to call it, this is that perfect situation where we are creating those virtuous cycles. So for the retailers, as margins continue to get compressed in store, entrants like Lidl in the marketplace, we're continuing to drive down lower and lower costs for the consumer. They're looking for other revenue streams. And so monetizing their first-party data, creating rich media experiences is a great way for them to find additional value. I think it's no surprise there. For the consumer, so depending on where things shake out with CCPA, really we're creating more rich experiences. We're providing more relevant ads to them at the right time based on their consumer experience journey or their shopping behaviors. And so then in turn for us, for GP, what I mentioned is, so this does create those virtuous cycles. For the retailer, it's giving us another negotiating point when we talk about our total retail relationship. We try to lay out all the trading variables, so it's not just our trade investment, it's not just what we're getting from feature and display, it's not just the price in store, but now we're adding media to that mix, which is a very unique blend. And also, I know Ryan and team are building out their first-party set. Not a lot of people are trying to give their data to go to angelsoft.com to buy toilet paper. They're generally doing it in the regular purchase. So for us, it gives us access to a lot of rich first-party data on our consumers that we actually don't have ourselves. So how this all comes to life. So like I mentioned, from a targeting perspective, we are relying on those retailers with their, depending on who it is, 100 million first-party data profiles for people that are shopping our categories. So we're using that to get a really refined targeting approach based on our goals and objectives for the brand. Then, because they have so many first-party data sets, they're able to get really short, closed feedback loops. So we're targeting, we're getting some results on that, so getting that quick measurement, we're getting statistical significance at a very fast rate. Then that allows us to optimize. Assuming myself, my team, we're doing our jobs, at the end of the day, we're trying to optimize to make a little bit, so you can see some coins down there. We're trying to drive the best efficient returns that we can for our business. So in this space, I think when retailers as publishers originally came about, it was predominantly display and search, but this continues to expand rapidly. It's not just display banners, it's not just people searching toilet paper, but it's continued to expand. So someone like a Pinterest has started to partner with retailers, so you can bring social into the mix. Then if you think about OTT, so it's not just Amazon Fire TV, but retailers are working with some partners like Hulu to share data so that they can get better targeting through those platforms, better measurement back through those platforms. And it will continue to expand from there. So a great example would be audio, where there's Alexa, they're starting to experiment with audio ads. If you haven't been served, you will continue to see that grow more and more. Beta started in Q2 and it's continued to expand. But like I mentioned, so Pandora and Kroger, for instance, have a partnership now where they're sharing that data, so we could target our Kroger shoppers based on that first-party data and get some great sales results back. So for GP, and I think for most companies, we're trying to get the right target in the right content in the right context. And so our brand teams, we have great cohorts. We're trying to identify some information about our key target audience. And so from a retail standpoint, we're taking what we're doing from a cohort and then we're applying it to the retailer. So, if we're trying to grow trial, we might go after some lapsed shoppers through the retailer or people that are buying the category, but maybe not necessarily us. From a content perspective, so this is our creative, but also our landing page experience. So putting together the right content that's going to resonate with that key target, but then also driving them to an experience that's adding value to them. And then for context, so I think most people think about context as just appearing in the right locations. But for us at GP, we're not only thinking the right location, but the right environment. So not only where it physically is, but where it is in their shopping experience and how they're thinking about things. So I wanted to break this down in a real-world example. So we have continued to explore tentpole events with our key retail partners. So our first one we ever did was a quilted northern Amazon example. So from a target audience standpoint, Quilted Northern, they were known for Northern toilet paper. It's been around since 1901, but not a lot of people have had a lot of experiences with the brand since. From a content perspective, our brand purpose was about creating experiences that were very forgettable. So we did not want you to remember Quilted Northern. Most of your bathroom experiences that you can remember are probably really bad ones. You're in a hotel, there's a single-ply toilet paper, or maybe you're in a public restroom and there's nothing. Not the best experiences. So we wanted to have a very forgettable bathroom experience. And then from a context perspective, it was really about driving the message with the audience in all those right places. So wanted to share this example. Again, I apologize, it's a little bit dated, but wanted to give you the first sort of tentpole activation we did, and I'll show you how it evolved since then.
Quilted Northern has devoted the last 100 years designing the best toilet paper. The brand's ultimate purpose, to make your entire bathroom experience forgettable. But in 2016, Quilted Northern was challenged to grow in brick-and-mortar stores as consumers became less loyal and retailers favored private label. To survive and thrive, the brand needed to find new ways to sell toilet paper and foster loyalty. We quickly recognized that Amazon had unlimited shelf space, but fewer than 3% of US households bought toilet paper online. To nudge people to buy online, Amazon introduced the Subscribe and Save feature, which puts purchases of basic household staples on autopilot. This is when a light bulb went off. Together, Quilted Northern and Amazon could deliver not only a completely forgettable bathroom experience, but also a forgettable shopping experience. Introducing Forgettable for All, a one-day promotion launched on the most forgettable day of the year, National Toilet Paper Day. And we launched it on Facebook, like this.
National Toilet Paper Day is not like other holidays. There are no gifts. No parades. No jolly people in suits. And no one gets this day off work. We even share it with another holiday, which is way more important than National Toilet Paper Day. And we're a toilet paper company. Yes, National Toilet Paper Day is not like other holidays, but it's our holiday. Forgettable. Just how we like it. Hop over to Amazon.com anytime today and get up to 45% off Quilted Northern toilet paper. It's a deal designed for each and every American with a butt. Every single American butt. And that's something, right? Subscribe and save on Amazon so you never have to remember buying toilet paper or this holiday again. Quilted Northern, designed to be forgotten.
To change an ingrained habit, we flipped the brick-and-mortar shopping experience on its head, building stores in New York and Seattle, but with a catch. The pop-up stores were too small to walk inside. Instead, shoppers had to order Quilted Northern on their mobile phones. To reach consumers who were not in New York or Seattle on that day, we created a 360 tour of the pop-up stores. We also created a targeted display media campaign, including a Quilted Northern custom landing page on mobile, to drive our message home and further encourage shoppers to subscribe. Quilted Northern and Amazon made a forgettable day quite memorable. In just one day, we sold enough toilet paper to span the width of the United States from coast to coast several times over. Most importantly, we created a pipeline of loyal and valuable customers by getting shoppers to subscribe to Quilted Northern on Amazon.
So like I mentioned, this tied in very nicely. The brand really had a goal to reach younger consumers. Amazon delivered those younger consumers, I think no surprise. They skew a little bit younger, a little higher income than a lot of our other key retail partners. So that made a lot of sense. From a content perspective, Quilted Northern trying to create a brand that's designed to be forgotten. It aligns perfectly with the equity of subscribe and save on Amazon. You're signing up, and then you really don't have to think about re-shopping for toilet paper in that experience ever again. And so created a wonderful campaign. At the beginning of the campaign, we had a goal. We wanted to drive a month worth of sales in one day, and we actually exceeded that, driving over 2 months of sales in one day. So very exciting campaign for us, and definitely look to continue to try to build on that. So this is another example. This was the following year. So I think where we did really well with Amazon is we created a multi-channel campaign. So this was 2017, where omni-channel is the big buzzword. So we wanted to try to find an experience where we could tie it further. It wasn't just the campaign idea and tying with the equity of a retailer and adding some media vehicles to it. We wanted to see where we can incorporate the packaging, some cause marketing, get feature and display in store, and really tie everything together. So our equity for Bronny is a brand that stands for strength and resilience. And we thought what better topic to do is to partner with Girls Inc. So we put a woman on the pack for the first time in our entire brand's history. And so it was a really great opportunity for us, great partnership with See Her and Girls Inc. And it was also a partnership that Walmart was heavily invested in as well. So when they heard us doing this, they approached us about creating an integrated campaign with them. So the pack launched exclusively at Walmart. We also were able to get a nice viral benefit where you can see it sort of cuts off our brawny man or brawny woman at the head. And so we had people going in stores, taking pictures of themselves just in the aisles of Walmart and posting it. So then Walmart continued to post that on their social media. We did it on ours. And all we're driving into this great both in-store and online experience featuring Brawny Strength as no gender. Moving forward, we continue to get, I'd say, a little more tactical. We had some really great awareness-driving vehicles, whether it was the Quilted Northern and Amazon and Brawny at Walmart, but then also trying to find different usage occasions. So Dixie and Vanity Fair are two of our brands. They are the most seasonally focused. We call it the Super 7, but basically, I mean, you all know your own habits. You're essentially buying paper plates and napkins when you're entertaining, so, key holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving. So really trying to drive more usage occasions, and so that's where we did some basket analysis with Target, trying to see what items people were buying at similar time periods, and we saw great affinity with summer grilling. So some nice Kraft Heinz brands in there, as well as integrating our Vanity Fair and Dixie. And we continue to do this. So whether, these are just 3 small examples, but we had a great campaign that just launched the other week where Sparkle, they see a nice uptick for back to school. It's a very cost-efficient paper towel, so it's a great gift for teachers, for classrooms, and so we did a nice partnership with Dollar General Kids in Need and Sparkle paper towels that just launched last week. So I think these are all great examples of some awareness driving, but at the end of the day, we're a privately held company. We're trying to drive the most efficient returns possible, so my brand investors are saying, show me the money. So for us, that's really in paid search and those conversion and lower funnel activities. Just using toilet paper as an example. So toilet paper is a top 80 search term on Amazon. It's the first of any of the household essentials. This makes up for the vast majority of our sales on Amazon. It's people that are just searching toilet paper. And so we've seen being in the top spots of search is really where you want to be. If you're a high frequency, low interest category, when we're towards the top of the page, our conversion rate is double over any placement on the page. So really it's about people hand raising, they want their toilet paper. They don't really care what it is as long as the ratings and reviews look decent. And so that's really our conversion vehicle right there. So like I mentioned, there's a lot of opportunity for the higher level awareness in the space, whether it's the new OTT offers, the audio, and then there's lots of conversion for those people that just want to buy some toilet paper and move on with their experience. Where we're really interested in going is where we can add to the consideration set. There's not a lot we can do with the toilet paper. We can bid as much as we can, but there's a lot of competitive pressure there. So consideration, those people that maybe are doing a little more research, so we try to drive some positive ratings and reviews. We're working on more ways to respond to those, but definitely interested to see where it goes in the space. The retailers, they're probably making a little more margin in the higher level awareness things. We're probably focused on the conversion, but that middle area is going to be very interesting moving forward. So like I mentioned, at the end of the day, we're trying to drive some efficient returns where I think partners like an Amazon, like a Walmart, like a Kroger, where they're separating themselves out is that they have a lot more to offer than just media and media returns. And so I've developed a scorecard. We share this with our key investors, and it's a way to look at the total picture. So I'll start. I'm sort of a best for last person, so I'd say the bottom ones are probably the most important in the mix, but we'll go through it all. So from a data perspective, these partners, the ones that are doing better are the ones that have the most first-party data and that they're leveraging it. So whether it's targeting, whether it's for measurement, that's what we sort of start our initial conversations with these retailers is how many first-party data profiles do you have, what data points do you have, and how are you leveraging it? So from a targeting perspective, it's, like I mentioned, using that first-party data, but is there a value in having the retailer do it for you that we couldn't get. So like I mentioned, GP doesn't have a great, robust first-party data set, so there's a value to us in using these retailers. They're getting a lot more information in the purchase data coming back, and so we score that appropriately. From an integration standpoint, this would be whether they can tie into our DMP, whether they're creating self-service, API integrations for more automation and into our reporting dashboard. So if that's saving us time and resources because they have all this great access and they can pipe into the right areas, we try to evaluate that and put a score to it, essentially like what we are saving on the back end because of some of the efficiencies we're gaining from the ease of data access. From a measurement standpoint, so no surprises here, but what we're really focused on is getting those incremental returns. So looking at control and expose audiences, looking at the dollars per customer between the two and measuring the incremental impact. But there's other areas too. So I think if we were just looking at our Amazon sales, we might not necessarily invest in just Amazon, but Amazon does drive a total market impact for us. In our MMM, we see it might drive our sales at Walmart, at Dollar General, at Kroger, at other customers. And so if they're tying in a total market sales lift study like a Nielsen Catalina or IRI, there's a real value to that. We would invest on that in our own, so if they're providing it at added value, we give them credit for that spend. So I mentioned I'm a best for last kind of person, so those top four, I would say over the next year, you'll see a lot of parity. Everyone's gonna offer a very similar approach as it relates to those top ones, whether it's Amazon, Walmart, Target, or you name it. I think the bottom two is really where we'll start to see differentiation and for people to start to stand out in this space. So relationship impact, I tried to put this broad, but the biggest value is gonna be, is there a P&L impact to our buyer? So I mentioned combining trading variables. So if, for instance, we can invest, if we invest $1 in media, if we can invest $1 less in trade, that's a huge savings for us and a huge value. So we wanna give credit appropriately. Also, if it gives us more access in terms of like JBPs or people that we're integrating with, and then we get beta partnerships or other opportunities as a result, there's a value. Lastly, and most importantly, at the end of the day, we're trying to drive efficient economic value for the company. And so really it's trying to drive the best returns. We have a lot of alternatives, everyone does. It's a very fragmented media space, so Google or Facebook. If Amazon or Walmart is driving the most efficient returns for us, we'll continue to invest. So for the path forward, there's a lot evolving in this space. I'd say the two key areas of focus are they're gonna continue to build capabilities. So OTT, audio are probably the biggest ones today. Self-service being followed not so closely behind, but I'll pause with this example. I think it's no secret in the space that the NFL and Sunday Ticket is having some issues with DirecTV and AT&T. So they're putting up streaming for bid coming in the future. Right now, the two leaders for that bid is ESPN Plus and Amazon. So think about that. Amazon has the largest, or one of the largest first-party data sets, and they could potentially be capturing the largest live audience if they get that deal. So that would be a huge integration. If Jeff Bezos had Swagger right now, I couldn't imagine what those two combined would end up doing. I guess lucky for us, we don't play a lot in the football space, so we can avoid that one. And then the other area is, I'd say beyond our room here in CPG, is continuing to expand to non-endemic partners. So endemic would be people that are selling products. I think all of us sell to Amazon and Walmart, but continuing to expand, whether it's like a BMW or Verizon, using that data that's relevant to other people outside of our space and continuing to build ad capabilities. So I'll pause there for a second if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, so Brian Watson, Kraft Heinz. Quick question. So you talked a lot about data sharing with retailers, partnerships with retailers. Where have you guys seen success in terms of actually getting some type of visibility back from those retailer or channel partners about who's buying what? Because I think we're probably both in the same situation of not being really D2C, of losing that visibility. Yeah, so I think everything is it's really a partnership and trying to work together. So in some of the examples, like, we did the launch with Bronny at Walmart and National Toilet Paper Day with Amazon. As part of the larger campaign that we were putting together, we had some asks in the front end for information that we would get on the back end.
So I don't know if anyone saw the discount. It was a pretty heavy discount. It was if you subscribed to 5 or more items, so it wasn't just in the flat discount. But we wouldn't do that with just a short-term return in mind. So as one of our prerequisites was to get the repeat data on the back end so that we could prove what the long-term value was. So more and more when we start our upfront negotiations, we work through our internal stakeholders. What are the data points that we value the most? And so we ask for those as part of the total ask. So it's not like, hey, we're going to invest in the back end. Oh, by the way, we'd love all this data. Please give it to us. It's, we will give you this investment if you can give us data in the back end.
Mike, how are you evaluating this inventory relative to other types of online inventory? So when you're thinking about allocation decisions, how much money is starting to move into this space and say away from social, Google, all the other usual suspects?
Yeah. So one of my favorite conversations I have with each of our brand teams when we launch campaigns is their goals are always trial and awareness. The KPIs you use for trial is very different than the KPIs you use for awareness. Like I mentioned, privately held company, very economically driven. So when we evaluate these partners, we are tying it back to the specific incremental sales volume that we're driving and the efficiency that we're able to do it. So for some of the partners like Google or Facebook, it's harder to get that in a real-time basis. So we use a couple different data points. So we have mixed modeling. We're measuring all these retail media capabilities as part of our MMM. And so we're even trying to segment it out a little bit. Using Amazon as an example, they have a lot of offers. So we do link-in media that drives to our Amazon product detail pages. We do link-off that drives to our brand websites. And so trying to split all those and measure it in MMM from a total market impact is one way we do it. But then if we have some specific sales volume goals at a specific retailer, we'll measure the efficiency and compare it to some of the alternatives. I would say for
do you have a sense yet of how that measures up, how those numbers actually flesh out?
It always depends. We have a lot of brands in the building and a lot of different retailers. So we've been partnering with Amazon for a long time. We've seen some success, whether it was direct Amazon sales or in our MMM from a total market perspective. So we have seen some success there. And then for the ones that we don't, we also keep in mind all those total values. So if there's a relationship impact, that's maybe a reason we're investing more in them. We try to combine the total picture. With a Google or a Facebook, it's really a pure media return. And for the retailers, we're combining that the media return in addition to the other benefits that we're getting.
Nope. Oh, I'm sorry.
Are there any limitations on the data that you're getting back from Amazon?
Yes, lots and lots. I'd say some of the better data points we're getting in general, and so this is for us and what's valuable to us. We are very interested in the long-term benefits, so repeat information is a really key one for us. But then we're trying to get better at creating more personalized experiences, I think, just like everybody else. So if we can get more information on our audience specific to that retailer, it's helped us build out more robust campaigns and more relevant. So AngelSoft was a really good example. AngelSoft is a value brand. It's a wonderful product for the money, but I would say it's not the most relevant to a more premium or high-income audience. I think not a major surprise there. But what we saw was that when we started to get more data from a customer like Amazon, we realized that our shopper for AngelSoft on Amazon more closely resembles the Amazon audience than it does our AngelSoft audience. So if we're trying to drive Amazon-specific sales, it doesn't make sense to go back to our standard sort of efficiency messaging. So some of that data has helped us refine our creative message on a customer-specific basis.
So Mike, that was great. Thank you so much. We're going to continue talking about unique channels and new and emerging channels. And in fact, in the 15 years that we have been doing these summits, we have never had a presentation specifically on the TV shopping opportunity, which is curious. And in fact, we only really started getting inkling of the importance of this at our last direct-to-consumer summit in March. when Uli Haslacher, who is going to present now, first came to us. She was on a panel there, and the interest, and she talked about the ways in which she has been leveraging the TV shopping channel for her new cosmetics brand, but also has been doing it for a number of brands over the years. It was an eye-opener, and it created a tremendous amount of attention and interest. And it's one of the reasons why I specifically asked Uli to come here, because the ways in which she has discovered and her knowledge base in leveraging this channel is fascinating. Uli is the founder and president of I always say Pour Moi. Do you say Pour Moi?
Pour Moi. Yes.
And she has been working in this space, especially at the TV shopping channels, for a number of years, consulting with a lot of brands like Soniclean. Please welcome Uli Haslacher.
Hello, my name is Uli Haslacher, and I'm the president of Pour Moi Skincare. Yesterday, a lot of people asked me if my background is science or wellness, and actually my background is direct response. And direct response is direct to consumer before e-commerce started. So what I found very interesting when I was invited the first time to be part of Media Post, that there were absolute nobody there from direct response TV, which is QVC, HSN, nobody from Gassi Ranker, from Andy Kubani, nobody from the industry, and that there is really two silos in direct to consumer, which is e-commerce, which kind of looks a little bit down on us, which is the parents of e-commerce, which is direct response, infomercial, and QVC and HSN. A lot of the brands that you know and you see today in retail, especially out of beauty, have been created on QVC or HSN or on an infomercial. So how many of the brands here do business with QVC or HSN? Wow, 0, which, when we are talking about legendary brands and branded brands and how you get this little bit, more of pricing that you can charge because you are a brand, that's what QVC is all about. It's a beautiful platform. It's made for women, so it looks much better and feels much better than Amazon, and you only get brands, so you buy branded. And literally every brand that I have seen here, I could imagine on QVC tomorrow. And actually, when I was in Austin, I was able to get some of the brands already on QVC that never even thought about going on QVC. So that's all being said. I used, many years ago, because I'm doing a lot in beauty and wellness, I have done a lot of celebrity brands with QVC. I thought about the concept of matching skincare to the climate. And when I talked about this in 2009, 2010, to my customers who were looking for new brands, to create new brands, for their brands, new categories, new kind of, sub-brands, I found many of the big companies telling me that the American consumer will never care about climate. It will be nothing that will be ever talked about. It will be too difficult for the consumer to understand that climate personally affects them. And I really could not agree more, because the first clinical studies were coming out that showed that the outer skin actually works with the climate you are in. It doesn't work from the dermis that we thought before when moisturizing per skin type. It is actually the environment, humidity, temperature, elevation, UV light, how much UV light you are getting, so how long is the day, summer and winter, is very different, and then pollution levels. Today, it's a much, much harsher environment that we are up against. So we know today that almost 90% of signs of aging on your face, on your surface, are really done by the environment and the climate you are in. If you treat the skin, we have the technology in skincare, which is called biomimetic formulation. If you treat it per the climate you are in, your skin actually recovers very quickly. So, but it is a complete new learning for the customer. And so I thought I'm going to bring it to home shopping to really test it out. And why did I do that? Because home shopping is designed to sell products. If you cannot sell it on home shopping because you have an audience that is ready to buy, you cannot sell it anywhere. So what I learned is, with some of the more complex marketing concepts throughout the year that I was faced, I would always test them on home shopping first because we often had to go back and rethink things. And there's no better audience out to test than on home shopping. Home shopping today, 2019, you can't really in the United States test anything any longer. You have to sell at least $10,000 to $25,000 a minute, so you have to have either a major celebrity that goes on, like Ellen DeGeneres, Serena Williams, or you have legendary brands that everybody knows. And today, all the big brands, especially in beauty, Lancome, iRobot, Dyson, they are all on home shopping. And so you're competing with some of the best brands for this airtime. The airtime is very valuable. So I test outside the United States, and which is still how it was in the 90s in the US, and where I mostly test is either the UK, QVC UK, which now with Brexit is not a good idea anymore. So you go to Toronto, Canada, and you go on the Canadian shopping channel because it's still the North American customer, and it's very easy to test there and understand what you need to change. And we made a lot of changes. The power of home shopping is also that it's a life experience. And life is always different. You make it relevant to the moment in time you are in, so your customer is watching you. And so it's a complete different, it's a different dynamic than just making videos where you invest in a video and you want to have that video be good in 6 months or 3 months or whatever the duration is. In home shopping, you think now, right now, what's relevant to my customer. And then it's really a shared social experience. What home shopping, QVC, and HSN figured out long before is how to engage the customer. So people call in. When people say that QVC was the original YouTube, well, it's also the original Instagram. It's the original influencer base because it's all, these hosts at QVC were the first influencers out there. They get a followingship. I'm sure everybody here knows Lori Greiner. She's on Shark Tank. And, she has built before. She was a real influencer for QVC. She has created, many, thousands of products that she has sold. She has an audience that is really big. When she went on Shark Tank, she was immediately able to get these entrepreneurs and get them in front of a big audience so they could really sell. Just as a side note, before Lori Greiner came on, it was me who got the brands from Shark Tank on QVC. So I worked with Barbara Corcoran on her first, brands. They were all going on QVC. So regardless what you hear about the customer on QVC, it really is the female 49 and plus, and she loves to shop. She is actually a consultant, she shops a lot. And the reason why QVC was really able to keep that age group going throughout the 30 years is that they are merging audiences. So the reason why they brought on celebrities like Ellen DeGeneres, so now her audience comes over to QVC. Same things with Shark Tank. They were always involved in TV shows, trying to bring celebrities and TV shows to build the audience. When QVC bought HSN in 2017, they became the third largest e-commerce retailer in the United States. So you have Amazon, then you have Walmart, and number 3 is QVC. Because of that shopper 49 plus, a lot of people talk about cable cutting and never cable, but that consumer that QVC is going for is actually not the one that is cutting the cable yet, or never cable. That's more, males 40 and younger that are in that group. And then QVC has really invested hugely into technology, especially after 2017. And today, when you get the QVC app that a lot of women have, it's live streaming all the time. They have 35 Facebook pages. They are doing incredibly well with their, apps and everything else. So they are really very innovative in going out and selling everything. So they're becoming like an Amazon who started with books and now selling everything. So they are, QVC is moving to that as well. So here is now how it worked. I'm taking my new company as an example. I was also, the reason why I can take a little bit of time and really understand the consumer, how to communicate this new kind of how to use skincare. It's a change of, experience skincare. And also maybe for the guys here in the room, skincare is something very personal to a woman. She's very afraid that it could damage her skin. It's a huge trust issue. It's very different than makeup, very different than putting a mask on, very different than everything. It's the hardest sell in beauty is convincing a woman to try a new skincare line, a real new skincare line, and making a change in her habits. So it takes much more consideration. So home shopping is entertainment. If you cannot sell on home shopping, you can sell it anywhere. I went on the home shopping the first time, and that's something that I had to say. I was very, very surprised by it. I have worked my whole life with talent. I have huge respect for talent. It's very, very difficult. You have to be media trained, everything what I'm not. And they insisted that I had to go on camera because today it's all about authenticity. It's all about the founder. I was fighting it for a very long time, but I lost that fight. We actually did hire a talent, and we let her go on the first time. And then I went on with my terrible accent and with, no media training. And you will see a little clip from that first appearance that was so horrible, but we still sold out. And the talent didn't sell out. So it's really, very interesting of how the world works today. So for whatever reason, there's some kind of a yellowish shadow over it. The other clips will be better. But here we got the first checkpoint that it does sell.
You explained it to me this way, and I thought it was really fascinating, that an airplane is biomimetics. It's using the nature's wings of a bird.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So you're using what nature's doing, but harnessing it,
right?
right?
Exactly. What works in nature, because nature is perfect. It really works perfect. So what you want to do is you want to mimic that perfection. And what we know about the outer skin, where skincare lives, is that it actually renews itself.
So I just have an update. Did you tell me that Daryl, is it gone? It's sold out.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
We were done in a few minutes.
Completely sold out, yes. And I want to share, I just want to invite you, please, to write reviews. Can you give the Instagram account? Because I know that you're all very active on Instagram and you do look at it and answer it. So is it just, what is the address?
For more skincare.
So this is an example that we immediately knew that there is, we're going to eventually figure out to really, before we bring it out in a big way, that the customer understands it, when I talk about it. So the next thing was we wanted to make it more relevant, like when you are on Home Shopping Network, how important it is to make it relevant. The next time I went on, I had a little bit more of experience yet, but it was an interesting experience. I was actually going before. I go every 8 weeks to France, where we manufacture in France and we develop products in France. We have the lab there. And I was on my way from LAX to Paris and then going from Paris straight to Toronto. And it was the Raptors and the Warrior game. And I was at the bar just, watching it. And Kevin Durant just got injured. It was game 5. And my phone gets like a little update, and I'm reading online now also the Toronto Star, because, we are in Canada, so I want to be more updated about it. And boom, it comes up. best new moisturizer 2019, Pour More Skincare. And I literally thought somebody punked me because I didn't think that that could be possible during the game. Well, I used it, I made a screenshot right away, and then I used it on the show. And this is the, how you bring something and make it relevant in that moment.
First, I want to share something with you. So you can only imagine that beautiful blonde woman who you just saw there, who's live in studio with us, Uli. She's watching, Game 5 of the Raptors.
Yes.
Right, Uli? Come on in and tell us.
Go Raptors. It was amazing.
And you see this that pops up on the screen that voted from the Toronto Star. This is the best moisturizer of 2019, and it is in our ritual 3-day kit coming up in a few moments. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was such an exciting moment. I actually thought it was fake news. I couldn't believe it because I was sitting in LAX at the New York airport, and I was watching Game 5, and Kevin Durant just got injured, and I'm reading the Toronto Star regularly as I read the New York Times, and I got a little ding on my Facebook, and I open it up, and it says, the news, as you just showed, Kevin Durant got injured, and by the way, best new moisturizer in Canada 2019 is our tropical day cream. So,
well,
I just first thought somebody punked me, but it turned out it's true actually. And the Raptors won. We are
and
number one.
Best.
It's just the world is good.
So I went on air the day the parade was, 1 million people in Toronto. Toronto that day that I went on broke the merchandising record from the NBA. So it was more jerseys ever sold in Canada than ever in the United States. I sold out immediately within a minute. So, this is the power of doing something live and kind of, using it for this. The next one is I put a little bit of the behind the scene that you can see how professional really the studios are. Even, Canada is not to be compared with what happened actually as QVC, where you have 30 different sets with, different kind of kitchens, different kinds of living rooms, outside areas. It's just unbelievable. The sets that you have on QVC, but the shopping channel is, is also a very nice network.
Your skin is going to start working again. We often over-moisturize or under-moisturize with products that are out there.
Can you over-moisturize?
Oh, you can over-moisturize all the time. Actually, if you Google it, more and more dermatologists say start moisturizing completely. Because what happened is that your skin gets lazy. It's kind of like going with your muscles to a workout. If you have a machine that moves you, you only get like 20-25% muscle. So somebody else is taking over for the body. Not really a good thing. But when you go and you really work out, you eventually get a really great, perfect, healthy, beautiful looking body. Well, skin works the same way, the outer skin.
Because your body does it better than you are.
So what I was looking for when I what my customers always hired me for was to create storytelling brands, because that's how QVC worked. Like a toothbrush brand came to me and said, how can we be more interesting? And we put music on the toothbrush, and I was able to bring Bravado in, and we did the Justin Bieber toothbrush, and we sold 12 million units in a very, very short period of time. We became Bravado's #1 licensing item. Then we put, Lady Gaga on it, and we sold 0. So, because you never know what sells and what doesn't. It's a very interesting. The consumer space is always something of a mystery in some ways. But what I'm trying to say is when you are selling on home shopping, it was always about making it relevant, how the product works in a woman's life for her. So, you try to make these relationships to how you work out in the gym, that, a body you have to do the workout. There's nothing, the body has to build muscle by itself. Same thing how the skin works. It has to rebuild itself. There's no magic ingredients out there that will heal your skin. The skin has to heal itself. And it's a very, very storytelling brand. So now we are the #1 engaging brand at the shopping channel in Canada. We have more people call in, more people ask questions on Facebook about how it works than any other brand that is out there. And so here is some real data that we decided to share with you guys. And this was the show on April 30th. And the other brands that were in this segment with us was, the one you maybe don't know is Elizabeth Grant, because it is a home shopping brand only. They only sell on home shopping. It's from Germany originally, this brand, and it's one of their top brand. Like in Canada, it's actually their #1 brand sold. So we were the only really unknown brand. The target for this segment for the 2 hours were to generate $60,000. These are small numbers compared to the United States. As I said, in the US, depending what time slot you are in, where you are throughout the year, you have to do $10,000 to $25,000 a minute. So Canada is by far, it's much, much smaller and easier. So they are looking for a $500 a minute. So very different. So we went on with a 3-pack and a 2-pack, and there was a BOGO, buy one, get one free. And everything was on easy pay, all of the items. And so compared to the other brand, we had 28% of the airtime, and we provided 48% of all sales. We actually outsold all of these brands. We were also the most expensive item, actually, that was sold at that time, because ours was sold for $100, the 3-step, and Benefit. They had they had a $200, and today for $88. So they were much, much less expensive than us, much better values they had. Our dollar per minute, DPM, everything is measured dollar per minute on the shopping channel, was 235% better than the other more established brand. We went over the target. And, we got, of course, immediately then more airings confirmed. We now, after, seeing it now in Canada, we were thinking about, based on the feedback that we got from the people calling in, that climate is really news. Weather is news today. Something that people told me 10 years ago, which will never come, which I didn't believe. Every American today is very concerned about what's going on. We were talking about the farmers with the floodings. People are aware now of skin cancer, UV light, and it's just really a different world. So this is also what's most convincing. I actually, because nobody believes in before and after anymore, which we drove home shopping in the 90s, now, the digital brands that go out and do whatever they want to, they have just really ruined the credibility of before and afters. So I use the product on one hand and not on the other hand. And, so I always show the result. I made the commitment on showing it on my own body so people know what they can expect. And actually, I'm surprised how successful this has become. I just show my hand on TV and it goes up. And we repeat it because we have like little things in our ears, and it's like, Uli, put your hands up. Uli, put your hands up. It's just, this is actually what is most convincing. So we were saying, what is if we bring this into American news programs in the morning? So then we went on a couple of the morning shows in climates in the United States that we are, considering now low-hanging fruits. Because there's such an extreme climate, everybody knows their skin is suffering, like here in Lake Tahoe, or in Tucson, or in Denver, or in Miami, because the humidity is crazy. And so I'm traveling like a crazy person, and I go on these shows. Next week I'm in Sacramento, New Mexico. I'm still going on all these things. And it has worked tremendously well. So I think so here's the case study. And I always take a case study that is very similar to all the other appearances we have. So we went on now 7-8 times on different local markets. Our cost of acquiring a customer is $7.84, and we have only gone on these networks just once for 4 minutes, and I'm showing my hands, and still haven't done the media training yet, which I still have to do. And then the industry standard is $20. Our return on advertising spend is 6.46. So for every dollar we spend on the media to Scripps, we get $6.46 back. The industry standard is between 1.5 and 2.5. It's a little bit lower in skincare because it's reoccurring. Our average order is $50.67. We were surprised that people buy multiple products right away. And we already haven't even sent them an email yet to reorder because it's not even 2 weeks. We've already 30% of these customers from the June 25th show on Tucson have already reordered. So it has been very successful, to say the least. So now we were thinking, how do we going to scale it? And coming out of infomercial that drives retail, it's in my DNA that I want to do a self-funding advertising campaign. We never want to pay for the media. So that's just how, that's the DNA of direct-to-response. When you go on QVC, you don't pay for the media either. So we are not really people who like to pay for media. So we're looking for something that's going to fund this media for us. So we talked to Scripps, and because we were so successful, actually customers are calling into the network to the local news programming and saying, thank you so much for putting the skincare on. I was always looking for something. So they saw engagement themselves. And so we came up with creating our own beauty segment now on the local news. And it's going to launch in 2 weeks. So we are very excited about it. The pilot will be running in Tucson. And it is called Beauty Forecast. Because when I was looking, when I found this white space in skincare, which is if you have anything to do with skincare, it's a hugely cluttered category with so many brands. The private labeling has completely destroyed it with, the indie beauty brands where it's really the same product, just different packaging, different price points. We were able to put patents into place in the US and worldwide, and we were able to buy a lot of trademarks. And one of the Beauty Forecast, everything was available that you could put together with beauty and climate and weather. Nobody ever thought about it before. So we created now a new segment, Beauty Forecast, and for the first time, it will run every Monday at 10 o'clock. And the local meteorologist, so in this case, the blonde lady there, that's April Madison from KGUN 9, ABC in Tucson. She will actually do the first beauty forecast ever done in the United States. She will read the weather and will tell you, this is your UV level, this is your pollution, this is your humidity. And yeah, I have to wrap it up. But I want to say one thing, because when I build a lot of the celebrity brand, I built it one for Olivia Newton-John for breast health, and we actually then got together into business, and we have done a lot of things for breast cancer, and I have been involved in breast cancer and skin cancer because of it in the last couple of years, and I can tell you for certainty, when women stopped smoking in the 90s, it was not because of the research that it causes all kinds of cancer and diseases. The number one reason when women stopped smoking was because evidence came out that it wrinkles your skin. And so we know that beauty drives healthy behavior. And so so we envision this beauty forecast to also help people make better decisions about their lifestyle in the climate. So this is going on. This is our next venture. So next time I will be able to report on this one. And because so many people ask me, special discount if you want to try Pour More, Media Post's best friend forever. Thank you.
Uli, that was great. Well, thank you for that. You've got to have some questions about this because this is really interesting stuff. Any questions for Uli?
They want their Bloody Marys, Steve.
I have a question.
There's a question in the
Just
back.
hang on.
There's a question back there. Yep.
Hi, Megan Craig from Empower. Loved your presentation. I love skincare, so it really resonated. I was curious, so knowing that the TV shopping channel is your primary driver, how much do you leverage influencers to also spread this message that you just said?
Not a lot. And the reason for that is that I haven't been convinced yet that they sell, to be honest. I think they're building their own audience. I don't know. I think they were somehow powerful when it came out, like 1.5 years ago or 2, but now everybody knows they are paid for. So I think they lost a lot of this power. I think influencer marketing works when you put 3,000 influencers at the same time and you launch a product like, L'Oreal did with Clinique, and I think it gave it a buzz. But I think for my brand, I'm just being more traditional because I really want to know what it's going to take. Once we're going to really put money behind media, we haven't done digital media yet. So that's going to be something we are moving into 2019 too. Jebit, which I met Steve in Austin. I met a couple of really great companies. They just built us Take the Quiz. So people can more easily, find what product is good for them. But I want to, we learned a lot about our brand in this process. First of all, I have to be the spokesperson, which was something I would have never guessed. We learned that because we're in the climate space, they look at us from a different lens. Our packaging, we had to change our paper packaging from recyclable paper to disposable paper and had to really prove on the website that it's 100% biodegradable because that consumer, we are in that climate space and they want to make sure we are not greenwashing, anything, we're using this in the wrong way. So it's a lot of different things that we learned in this last 1 year as we are trying to get ready to roll out in a big and meaningful way. So I tried to learn it before, to walk before you run.
Uli, as always, this is fascinating stuff. Thank you so much. And Uli, of course, will be here for the next couple of days for you to ask her directly. Before I turn it over to John to talk about Bloody Marys, which is more interesting than anything I have to say, a couple of activities notes. If those of you who have signed up for